The 11th race of the AERS Racing Series 2014 season will be at the Canaan Valley Speed Park for the Mr. B's 250. Tim Averell got the AAA pole award for this one. He would start on the inside of Cody Lochner in the 34. Nate Smith, second in points, starts third. Barry Juveno, fourth. And Carson Crompton, Smith's teammate, in fifth. AARO Racing and Smith Motorsports 135 on the starting grid. And this would be their home track. As you see that West Virginia paint scheme on the 83. He's looking to take the points lead back from Casey Lester, who is right here. Took the points lead after LA, finishing second in his dual race. And he started in 17th, so he's got a little bit of climbing up there to do. But he's definitely looking to hold his 3-point lead over Nate Smith, who is battling Cody Lochner for the second position. That middle groove that he's running right there, best line around this racetrack, and right there he proves it as he gets around Lochner in the 34. Lap 5 looks like Michael Carter's in the wall, into Jerry Richardson, and Ricardo Blanco is spun into the infield. Let's see this one again. Brad Simmons involved, he goes for a spin, and Blanco is just sliding right through the infield, and no caution would come out for this, but Blanco would retire. I guess the caution didn't fly because it was out of the racing surface, but it was actually a pretty hard hit for the 08, and he would obviously retire. Here's Sean Glossum, first race back after missing, after winning Darlington. Obviously he was in the LA dual race, but he made the qualifying race for this one, and he'd be running up in the top 6 as he's battling Juveno right now for that spot. Glossum has definitely turned it around since early in the season, and he's definitely showing he wants a contract renewal with some team. Carson Crompton, 4th place right now. He's been solid all year on these short tracks. Doesn't surprise me to see him at the front at all. He could have won at McKinley. He won at South Boston, and he's definitely showing he could possibly contend for the win here today. Jared Cash in the 50s turned it around as of late. He is running in the back, but he qualified for this one. This is only his 4th start of the year in that number 50 car, and he'd definitely be, but he's getting released, so he's definitely showing he has some worth to any team who wants to sign him next season. Battle for 6th. Juveno and Glossum continue to battle. Very hard to pass on this track, as right there Glossum has the preferred groove, but Juveno's car is faster, so it's going to take a while for him to get around him. And Jates with a little slip up there. In the back there was Greg Sauer getting loose with Grant Jacobs. Jacobs has struggled this year, but he's definitely still a strong driver and just having a tough year in that number 40 car. Mac DiCario, 3rd in points, is battling Casey Lester for the 10th position. These two have worked their way up into the top 10 after starting kind of near the back or in the middle of the field. Lester currently holds that spot, and DiCario looking for it as his number 96 car continues to be consistent all year. The 96, 87, and 83 all have been fantastic this year, and they're looking to continue it here at Canaan, but it's going to be a tough task because this track is very tricky on the drivers. Smith has caught Averell in the 21, who has led all the laps to this point. You see they're catching lap traffic. Smith doesn't look like he can pull off any moves for a little while, as obviously very tough to pass. No need to push it early on, though, as his number 83 car looks to be dialed in just right. He can sit there in 2nd place and wait for the perfect opportunity, and that's going to be it for him. Juveno continuing to move up the field. Here he is trying to pass Alex Jates for the 5th position in that one car. Carson Crompton going on Cody Lochner for the 3rd spot. Juveno has had a very nice season in his rookie year. Him and Jates actually have missed one race, but they're both solidly in the top 10 in points, and they're continuing their strong runs here so far. Crompton and Lochner, here's that battle for 3rd. Lochner is 31st in points, so if he has a good day here, he can probably overtake David Lee Bibson, who's in the 30th spot in points for a lock-in position. So obviously Lochner wants to have a good run in that 34-7-11 Ford for Renesi Racing. We have caught lap traffic on lap 52, and this is actually going to prove a little bit of trouble for Averell, as here comes Nate Smith in that 83 car for the lead. R&R and Smith Motorsports 1-2-3 right now. Their other driver, Nick Dawson, is currently riding in the 12th position in that 22, but back to the lead goes Nate Smith in that 83 at his home track, and he's trying to take Carson Crompton with him, but doesn't there. Eventually does, as Averell slides up the track, and that will allow the 84 to get a nose underneath. But Brad Simmons going one lap down in that 03 car, spun earlier, so obviously not the kind of start he wanted to have, and he gets lapped And here we see Cody Lochner going for the third position on Carson Crompton in the 84. Using that middle groove as the 84, but as you see, the 34 just has a stronger car, powers off turn number 2 and completes the pass. And he's trying to follow Tim Averell by Brad Simmons in the 03, who's proving to be a little bit of trouble for these leaders in this early green flag run. Barry Juveno continuing to move his way up through the field. He has passed Carson Crompton for the 4th position. Juveno, fantastic drive so far, and he qualified second, fell back a bit early, but he's definitely moving his way up through the field faster than anybody, and that's a good sign for that team. Lochner underneath Averell for second, and it looks like he will not clear him off turn number 2. Tough battle here, and does get around him there. He does have the preferred groove, and will take that spot off turn number 4, and he'll look to chase down Nate Smith in the 83. A couple lap cars in the way. Jimmy Cohen in the 92 had a poor qualifying effort. That's obviously not paying off for him. And the 54 of Jerry Richardson, who also had a poor qualifying effort, which is nothing new for him, right in front of him. Juveno now passing, looks like Tim Averell for the 3rd position, and Averell has definitely fallen back a little bit. Something just might not be dialed in with that car. Obviously needs to come in, make some adjustments, and fix that car up, as he's sliding through the field fairly quickly right now. A couple laps later, Cody Lochner has chased down Nate Smith. Lochner on a rail right now. His car is just flying, and he'll get around the 83 fairly quickly off turn number 4, chasing that 99 of Mike Oppenheimer and David Lee Bibson in the 57, also in danger of coming a lap down. We'd have a debris caution on lap 82 that would bring the field into the pits. Lochner leads everyone down. A couple cars would stay out, you'll see in a moment, as Lochner makes his way down this tricky and narrow pit lane. As you see, here's the cars that stayed out. Barry Juveno in the 52, that's the 10 of Brian Hensler, and there you see Lochner will restart 3rd. Jared Cash in the 50, tail end of the lead lap, and you see David Lee Bibson, Keith Davis, Mike Oppenheimer all went a lap down as we restart on lap 87. Hensler, obviously not fresh tires like everyone else, he'll get past fairly quickly, and there's the 88 getting sideways, almost up into Bibson, but they would hang on to it. Our leader trapped on the outside. This is probably going to allow Cody Lochner to take that spot away, as here we see Tim Averell in the pits, unscheduled pit stop for the 21, flat right front tire on that machine, and he'll bring it down to the pits and relinquish the 7th spot. Cody Lochner underneath Barry Juveno for the lead, and Juveno obviously still stuck on that outside line, not where he wants to be. Nate Smith now looking under Barry Juveno, and Juveno, that pit strategy, not really the best of choices so far, but we'll see how that works out in the latter stages of the race, as we see Smith moving up to 2nd and trying to chase down Cody Lochner, who is our leader. Sean Glossom has moved his way up into 4th. Smith, a couple laps later, caught the 34, and he has a fender underneath the 711 Ford, and doesn't look to get it done there. Into turn number 3, drives it deep into the corner, does not get it done. Lap 94, looks like we have another spin, and it's Clyde Lattinger and Todd Bradshaw after Brad Simmons was riding the outside wall. Simmons involved in 2 wrecks today, and both of the wrecks actually, and that would they would keep going, all 3, but Simmons not really making any friends out there so far. The first one really wasn't his fault, but that one definitely was, and Simmons would have a little bit of damage on that car. Barry Juveno would pit on the in the caution flag, and that strategy would put him way deep in the field. Lap 100, restart, almost halfway here at Canaan Valley, and the 34 gets a nice jump on the lap car of Keith Davis. Here we see Mike Oppenheimer and Sean Glossom getting together. Mario Lancer in there as well. 99 goes up and over, and Jimmy Cohen has spun as well. Sean Glossom was up there. He was running in the 3rd position. Oppenheimer into him. Glossom is obviously going to fall back to Carey. Might have got a piece of that one. And it looks like they're all going to keep going. And Kenny Gerald gets a little piece of that as well. So, on lap 106, we'd have another restart. And it looks like Alex Yates in the 1 car has gone a lap down. Not sure what happened to him. But he is 1 lap down. That's not good for his championship hopes. Here he is actually entering the pits. And that would be for a penalty, jumping the restart or something. Here we see Will Legge, who's been quiet all year. We figured we'd talk about him here. Will Legge running solidly in the top 10 in this one, and he's struggled just a little bit this season, 15th in points, and he's looking to continue his strong runs as of late. Casey Lester in the 87 gets around a wreck. So you see Jared Cash riding the outside wall. Grant Jacobs, yes, he does get into him. Alex Jates, and there goes the 50 and the 1. And 50 gets hit by, looks like Pisani or that's Carter. Similar looking cars this weekend, actually. Cash would not continue. Lap 119, restart. The 34 clearing the 21, maybe? Yes, he does off turn number 2. 21 maybe got into him a little bit there. But as you see, a big jump for Lochner there. Second place, Nate Smith, into the wall, down into his teammate. And on lap 120, our 5th caution would fly. And DeCario's in there. Lester maybe got a piece of it. But Nate Smith from second place, our second place in points as well, goes for a spin. And Juvenile gets collected, and he collects his teammate Carson Crompton in the 84. Not good for either of them. They both get pretty moderate damage. 83 beat up a lot. 83 would not come into the pits and actually would restart 5th. The 84 would, and would restart, and the last car on the lead lap. Restart, Nick Dawson actually sits in 2nd. Greg Sauer 3rd. Cody Lochner obviously leading. Barry Juvenile is passing Greg Sauer for 3rd, so that strategy may be paying off for the 52 Jack Daniels Dodge. And here he is going for 2nd on Nick Dawson, as you see right here. That black number 52 charging its way through the field. Lochner has distanced himself from Juvenile as of right now, but it looks like if he can get around these lap cars, he has the fastest car on the racetrack. Greg Sauer going underneath the 22, and it looks like he's going to get him as we enter turn number 4. Sauer actually really close to the 52. Sauer's had a very quiet year, but he is still solidly in the top 20 in the point standings, and Sauer has been looking very strong the past couple of races. Here's Alan Reeds in the 19, last week's Duel 2 winner. Jack Walter actually did not make this race. He was the Duel 1 winner, but Reeds on the lead lap, unlike most of the field, and showing some signs of consistency for once, as that number 19 continues to round this racetrack. Justin Pisani currently sits 6th. No idea how he got there. Must have been off pitch strategy, but the 16 looking strong late in the going here at Canaan Valley. And his Verizon Dodge pretty beat up. He got hit in the back on one of the yellows, but he continues to run well. He hasn't run well the past couple of weeks, but he's fallen from the top spot in points to 9th, and he's trying to work his way back up there. Cody Lochner, 5-second lead over Barry Juvenile in the 52. As you see, nowhere in the picture do you see the 52. And he would continue to just control this race. 83 car, trying the outside line on Greg Sauer. The 83 was obviously involved in that last yellow, but working his way through the field very slowly, but he's still making baby steps in that 83 car. Passes Greg Sauer on the outside for the 3rd position. And the West Virginia Pontiac is obviously making some leaps on the point standings. As of right now, he is in the point lead. Here's Mac DeCario, 3rd in points, running 2nd. Figured we'd talk about him as he's running in the 7th position and is 3rd in points, and he's trying to keep up with Lester and Smith. Obviously a tough task to do as he tries to get around Pisani for 6th, and it looks like he's going to get it done. But DeCario, obviously one of the just out of nowhere drivers this year, 3rd in the point standings for that Alley Buick, and continuing to run well. 84, Carson Crompton has worked his way back up into 8th after that wreck, and he's working on passing Justin Pisani, who seems to be falling through the field a little bit in that Verizon Dodge. But Crompton still running well even after everything that's happened to him. This has been the story for Crompton. He's run well, and wrecks have taken him out of winning positions in that 84 car. 96 car in the wall a little bit, and DeCario looks like he will avoid trouble and continue to work on passing Pisani, who is actually now underneath the 96 car. Lap 169, Nick Dawson into the wall. Carson Crompton maybe got a little bit impatient with him, and the 22 car slams the inside wall and would keep on going, no yellow. 84 car continuing to move his way through the field, driving very aggressively, trying to get the 4th position away from Greg Sauer in the 24 car. The 84 obviously very impatient. His race has not gone the way he would have liked, but he's definitely making some ground up on the leaders, working his way back through the field. Barry Juvenile has cut the lead to 2 seconds as fastest car on track the past couple of laps. Lochner, as you see, has entered the picture in that 34 car, 52 running very strong in this one. Lap 180, Justin Pisani has started green flag pit stops. You see Will Legge in there as well. The next lap, 181, Cody Lochner would come into the pits, and he'd make his way through the narrow pit lane. This would give the lead to Barry Juvenile in the 52, who was on a different strategy, but still would come into the pits, and the Jack Daniels Dodge makes his way down the pits, and very cluttered pit lane. And this would give the lead to Nate Smith in the 83, who's staying out just a little bit longer than these guys. But we have a yellow flag, so Smith is in the driver's seat right now. As let's see what happens here. Looks like Will Legge doesn't hit him. Oh, yep, gets into him there. 28 just merged down right into him, and Brad Simmons piles in there. That's the third wreck he's been in this race. And Donnelly, I don't know exactly what went on there. Maybe just didn't see the 15, but onboard Casey Lester as he just sneaks through that one, and that's obviously good for the point leader. Nate Smith is in the pits under the yellow, and the 84 has followed him. On the restart, Brian Hensler somehow has the lead on lap 189. Cody Lochner, 1 lap down, our leader. That actually has happened to him a bunch of times this race. As you see, Brian Hensler actually dives into the pits. But Cody Lochner screwed out of the first place position once again. Seems to always happen to him, and it happens once again. He is 1 lap down, wrecking behind these guys. As you see, Nate Smith getting by the 52. We'll get back to that in a second. As you see, here we go. Brad Simmons once again, lap 190, caution 7. Brad Simmons, Casey Lester in there, but Brad Simmons, oh my God, time to pull off the racetrack, buddy. Even in way too many wrecks. 87 had some damage. He's in the pits, and he would still come out 17th. 17 cars on the lead lap, and that 87 not having a strong day, but not having too rough of a day either. The 83 car passed the 52 for the lead, and on lap 195 would restart in the first position. Just 55 laps to go, and you see another wreck. It is Brad Simmons again, caution 8, lap 196. This finally takes him out of the race, but it's a massive wreck. As you see the 88 in there, the 54, the 87 car, our point leader, Casey Lester, is involved in this one. As you see, Carson Crompton actually dove into the pits to avoid it. Will Legge in there, Jerry Richardson, and Casey Lester gets a big piece of Keith Davis's car. Some pretty bad front damage on the 87. He would come in and get that removed. Here's 5 wide, just doesn't work at a short track. Will Legge gets involved. Justin Pisani with a big hit, and Frank Harris looks like he's going to be done after smacking in the back of the 15. And let's go on board, actually, of Carson Crompton, who made a great maneuver to jump into the pits. He saw 5 wide. Why not jump into the pits? Saved him his race car. As you see, they were wrecking all around on the back straightaway. Casey Lester has removed his hood. He keeps on going. Not too bad for the 87 team, running 17th, and just trying to salvage his day. 83 of Nate Smith continuing to lead on lap 201, and Barry Juvenile right there with him as the 83 does clear the lap cars on the inside. That's Luis Tellez in the 12, and you see Tyler Defer has actually snuck into the 4th position in that 20 car. He's been quiet all day, and obviously good to see him running up front in that Renesi Racing AutoZone 4. As you see, the 16 or the 39 gets turned up the racetrack into Kenny Gerald's and Clyde Lattinger, and we'd have another caution on lap 202. Alan Reeds gets a piece of that one as well. Oh, it looks like he's going to be done. DeCario got into Gerald's, into Carter. Carter sliding up the racetrack and collects Lattinger and Gerald's, and Reeds just has nowhere to go, plows into the 39. That does it for him. See the 84 back into the pits. Why not pit if you're back there? Lap 208, 83, obviously still in the lead. He once again cleared the inside line, as that middle groove is the way to go, and he would continue to lead. Last caution of the day on lap 209, Mac DeCario is involved with Jerry Richardson and Clyde Lattinger. They would go for a spin, and that would actually be the last caution of the race. Thank God. So lap 214, we have our final restart, and the 83 car still in the lead, 52 right behind him. That's Greg Sauer in 4th. Tim Averill, who was caught a lap down earlier, is running in the 4th position. Tim Averill, what a rebound after that flat tire put him a lap down, running third in that Sony Pontiac, and he would continue to push hard in that 21 car, running well as of late, and that's obviously a great sign for him. Herb Cilantro running in 7th position. He is following Nick Dawson in the 22. That is sixth position, my bad. And we go back to the leaders who have checked out from the rest of the field. Barry Juvenile trying to catch the 83, but Nate Smith has just got his car tuned in at his home track. What a feel-good story this would be for him. His first career win, if he can get it done, at his home track after all those years of bad luck. Nate Smith continuing to pace the 52 around this racetrack. And here he is going through turns 1 and 2. The 52 doesn't look to be gaining any ground, but doesn't look to be losing any ground either. So I'm sure he'll be content with a second place finish, as here comes the 83 off turn number 4 to take the white flag. All those years of bad luck, all those years of solid finishes, but not being able to make all the races. Nate Smith has finally got it together this year in that 83, and his teammates have done really well as well. Off turn number 4, Nate Smith finally gets his first career win. He wins at his home track. He wins the Mr. B's 250 at the Canaan Valley Speed Park. So Nate Smith, great win for him. That is going to put him in the points lead, obviously. Casey Lester finished 12th, so he will lose the points lead. Barry Juvenile, solid run, finishes 2nd. Tim Averell, what a race he had. Up and downs in this series can be so grueling, and the 21 pulls it together. 3rd place for him. Greg Sauer, 4th. Nick Dawson finishes in the top 5 and 5th. That puts both R&R cars, the 21 and 22, in the top 5. Herb Cilantro, 6th. Mac DiCario actually finished 7th after spinning late. Great run for him once again. Jonathan Ringer finishes 8th in that 0 Chase Bank Dodge. Didn't mention him at all this race, so that's obviously a good thing. Finishes 8th. Tyler Defer, 9th. And Brian Hensler gets a top 10 in that number 10 Shell Dodge for Silver Green Racing, and they're actually doing well this year. They have a win with the 7 car, so good to see them running up front. Nate Smith has the points lead by 38 points now over Lester. Lester had one not top 10, and it puts him out of the points lead. That shows that how hard it's going to be to win this championship. But the top 3 are still broken away from the rest of the field. DiCario 3rd, Jates 4th, Juvenile has jumped his way up to 5th. Those two, Jates and Juvenile, have only run 10 of the 11 races, which is remarkable. Carson Crompton 6th. Ricardo Blanco falls to 7th after retiring early on in this one. Justin Bassani moves his number 16 up from the 9th position to the 8th spot. And Keith Davis and Alan Reeds round out the top 10. Next week we head to Winnipeg for the Boston Pizza 200. It should be a fantastic race, so stay tuned for more AERS action.